Yesterday I was talking about what if I could catch charges for attacking any evil person, it would be Sky Roberts, Vinny Dufresne's father. And I said I would rather attack him than the people they hired to rape me because of the fact after enough experience with these people, they're so low functioning that they're not really that dangerous, right? I mean, they're highly dangerous to the people they're near, and they're completely lawless sociopaths who do violence feeling no remorse. But because their functional levels are so low, they're really not in positions to do damage to a lot of people. This is why billionaires are so dangerous, because they're high functioning sociopaths. And high functioning sociopaths can mime the illusion and the machinery of being prosocial, but they use that station, the prosocial acts they pretend to do, to abuse and hurt and exploit people. That's why they're so dangerous. That's why if you could take out any people, it would be the billionaire class, because they're all high functioning sociopaths, right? With the exception of ones who inherit their wealth, aren't sociopaths and give it away. Um, the ones who actually earn to be billionaires are all high functioning sociopaths, and that's why they're so dangerous and why the world is the way it is. The reason I said I would catch charges attacking Sky Roberts, I would catch charges, is because this piece of shit's as dangerous, like as a high functioning sociopath, but he's poor. And there's absolutely no reason he shouldn't have his face carved in. You know what I mean? Like the high functioning sociopaths who manage to be called billionaires and an aura of respect through their control, like people like Elon Musk, they're deeply evil. And the world would be a much better place with them gone. But it's this catch-22, because they're high functioning sociopaths, they have too much power to stop, right? That's why I said this guy needs his face checked, because he's the same in that he's done prosocial acts like pretend to be a father only to rape and sell his child into sex trafficking, but he's not powerful. He's on social security. He's a poor piece of shit and he just gets away with this, right? So it's the kind of intolerable situation where it's like, this guy should be in prison. This guy should at least catch a beating. There's no reason he shouldn't, because he's that dangerous combination of a high functioning sociopath, but he's poor and powerless because he's not that high functioning. He's just high functioning enough to do more damage than a low functioning one, right? Like, it's why I said, like, I don't feel anything about these people because they're so low functioning that I can only laugh. Like, the kind of shit that I see these people doing, like, I laugh because I just look at it like, you can't manage your life. Like, you are cognitively impaired. Like, the shit I see these people doing make me realize, like, the place they arranged feels like a handicapped facility. It really does. Like, these people should be inpatient because they can't manage their life in very basic ways, right? That's why high functioning sociopaths are so dangerous, and also why you can't stop them, because if they're a high functioning sociopath, they can engage in the rudimentary veneer of society enough to gain some power, and that's all they're concerned with, is gaining power to control people. And then it's harder and harder to stop them, right? But that's what makes Sky Roberts so odious, is that he's just high functioning enough to hurt more people than a low functioning one. Like, pretending to be a father, he raped his child, told his child to his friends, and then finally sold her to Ghislaine and Epstein and Trump at Mar-a-Lago. But he's just not facing any accountability for this. Like, it's that kind of thing. Like, most people like him end up in prison, but he's just managed to evade this fate, or a beating, or any kind of justice. And the biggest travesty is that he helped kill his daughter with the elites. My stomach was turning when I found out he sent a social media message saying, "I love you, Virginia, don't hurt yourself," to make it look like she was killing herself. I felt I wanted to punch him so fucking hard, man. It's the biggest injustice this guy gets away with this, because he's poor, he's powerless. There's absolutely no reason no one should be beating his ass, but yet it's not happening. That's why I said I'd like to go if I could catch charges attacking anybody, it'd be Sky Roberts. He needs to have his face kicked in. Because like there's absolutely no reason you should be like Elon Musk or Sergey Brin or Zuck shit where you could just do whatever you want and nobody stops you. There's no reason that should be the case, but it is. Why is that the case? Why has nobody said this guy needs a serious fucking ass kicking? Right? I know the Illuminati paid him off, but they're not protecting him. They just paid him off. Like, they don't care if he dies. They could give a fuck less. They just paid him off to get him to say this shit and help kill his daughter. There's no reason he shouldn't have a fist in his face. There's no reason he shouldn't be in prison. But he's just evading it. It's like, that's why I say he needs to catch a curbing. He needs to catch some fucking hands, some fucking charges, something. Because this guy has gone too long hurting lots of people and facing zero accountability as if he were a billionaire, but he's on Social Security and in debt. It makes no sense. I'm like, yeah, I know the Illuminati paid him. I'm sure of it. To get his complicity one last time in hurting his daughter. But they're not protecting him. I'm sure they don't like him, right? Like, they'll pay a lot of people. Doesn't mean they're with them, right? Why has nobody went to his trailer park and knocked his fucking block off? I don't get it. It's like I said, the sociopaths they hire to rape me, the vast majority of these people are too low functioning to the point. I know they're dangerous, I know they're violent, but they're so low functioning, they're really limited in the harm they can do. Like, the only harm they could do, I've called this the special ed mafia. Like, the only harm they could do is when the elites are holding their hand and letting them get away with crimes. So that's why I don't feel like I want to do anything to them, because it's almost like if you could imagine like an adult handicap facility where instead of like going to like bingo and watching TV, they were raping and the elites were holding their hands letting them do it. That's what this is like. That's what they made 10th Street into. For real. Like, that's the level of these people in their ability to do things, plan things, organize. Without the elites holding their hand, they could never get away with the crime. They'd be in prison over and over again. I know it. They'd be broke and in prison because they can't manage their life, basically. Like, I'm thinking just a few minutes ago, I'm pretty sure this is one of their people. It could have just been random white trash in Bayonne. I don't know. But, like, a great example of what I mean, too impaired intellectually to manage their lives, right? Like, so this individual is at a super public park. It's near a light rail, it's near a main street. There's high traffic at this park. She has her dog off leash. Now, that's a social signal that says, I trust my dog. That's a social signal that says, my dog's not violent, my dog's not going to hurt anybody. I reasonably trust my dog, right? If you have your dog off leash, you just close the doors. That means you're not afraid of people walking in there. You're not afraid of anything like that happening. Like, they could attack somebody or something, right? So I go there with my dogs. My dogs are safe. They don't attack anybody. My one dog is dog reactive in the sense he bark, 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 but he's not violent. He's really good with kids. He's good with people. But if he sees a dog, he'll go, but he is completely not violent. And when I say not, I mean when I'm around normal people, and it's like with similar dogs they trust. And if he goes and barks to those dogs, he just screams. And then if the dog looks at him, he runs away and pees. Like, that's the kind of thing my dog would do. Like, he's annoying, right? So if I'm in a public place, I always have Archie's leash on. I never take it off. And I'm always watching to see if a dog comes, and if it comes, I pick his leash up. That's it. That's it. And my other dog is very well behaved. I can trust her with open doors. She will not run away from me. If she sees another dog, she may look at it, but if I say, come here, she'll come to me, right? So that's the situation with my dogs, right? And most people, when they're in a public place, if they have their dog off leash, that's sending a social signal my dogs are trustworthy. You don't have to fear them, right? So this nut, like this low IQ, low functioning individual, apparently she's violating the social contract here by having a dangerous dog she doesn't trust off leash, right? So when I come in and go to my little corner, it's a big place. So I'm going to my little corner. That's enough for my dogs because they're not violent. Even Archie, he'll just get over it in a second. And Tulip, who I trust totally, won't chase him, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna play fetch with my dog in this little corner. But apparently, this psycho, this low IQ, low functioning individual, genetic mistake, she is violating the social contract by having a dog she doesn't trust off leash. So her dog proceeds to seize my dog as if he's and honestly, I wasn't even scared of her dog. The only time I got like nervous is when I saw her behavior flailing her arms like, oh my God. That's when I thought, like, oh, this white trash piece of shit could have brought a dangerous dog to her. That's why she's scared. She's scared she's gonna hurt my dog. And that's when I got scared. Thinking like, oh, you have to remember you're in Bayonne where everyone's like handicapped. So, it doesn't occur to them if I don't trust my dog 100% around other animals, I don't take him off leash. That doesn't occur. Like Archie, like I said, he's dog reactive in the sense he goes, he's a chihuahua, right? He'll go, but he won't hurt anybody. So I always keep his leash on so I can pick it up at any time if another dog shows up, right? But I'm not at all worried about violence or harm or death or anything like that. Just like, that's all I'm worried about, right? So, but even with that behavior issue, being dog reactive in the terms of like a chihuahua, I still don't take him off leash unless it's totally secluded, like not the 8th Street Park. But this lady here with a pretty large dog, like medium to large, and he's running laps with no leash. It's not like she dropped the leash, it's off. So I'm like, oh, this must be a safe dog, or else nobody would do that. So I walk in, go to my corner, and her dog seizes my dog. He looked like he was playing, and I wasn't even scared at first, other than the fact I knew Tulip was going to get a little overwhelmed, given he's so much larger than her. But he looked like he was playing to me, like he was in play body language. The only time I got nervous is when his low IQ white trash owner comes over and she's like, "Oh my God!" Ah! And so that's when I got worried because I'm like, "Oh, her dog might be violent and dangerous. Look at how she's acting." Like your dog, I thought he was playing, but I got nervous then. Like he must be violent animals or something, the way she's acting, right? So she grabs his leash. She had put the leash on, right? And she grabs it, and then I pick my dog up, and then I see her yelling at me because I have headphones on, and I'm like, what could she possibly be yelling at me about? Your dog just attacked my dog. You have your dog off leash at a public park, and you can't control your dog. That's my fault. So I take my headphones off, and then she's like, my dog could have eaten your dog. And I'm thinking to myself, like, see, this is why I don't react, like, why I don't feel anything. Because it's like, this woman is so impaired. She literally doesn't know she's the one who fucked up. like, oh, I don't trust my dog, and I took him to a super public park with high traffic and took his leash off. That's other people's fault. I'm just like, sort of looking at her like, I'm like, and I say to her very rationally, I'm like, the social contract rules are if your dog has no leash on in a public place, that means your dog is trustworthy. If your dog is not trustworthy and you as the owner know that, you should never be taking his leash off. That's all I have to say to you about that, right? And then she's screaming and making a fuss, and I'm just like putting my head, I don't care about you, low IQ white trash piece of shit. Like your IQ is 83, you're very impaired. Like you clearly don't understand this situation. Like you can't see how you're the one at fault, right? Like whatever you're doing with your dogs is on you. So if your dogs are doing something that's a risk of violence, and you're doing that, like taking their leash off in a public place, and you don't trust your dogs 100% not to attack something, that's on you. Like I saw this episode of Cesar Millan, this family, they were normal people, right? And they had like some, I think they were pit bulls. I don't know. They were some kind of like medium large defense breed. And they tell the story how they took this dog one time to the dog park and it attacked them. Now that's understandable. They didn't know about their dog. It was new to them. But after that day, again, because this is what normal prosocial people do, who are not handicapped mentally, they did not bring her back to the dog park. They never brought her off leash. Not only did they not bring her off leash in public, but they kept her in the yard because they were so afraid, given she showed animal aggression, right? That's what normies do, who are not low IQ, white trash. Like, oh yeah, it's your fault I made these choices. Like, and this family, like, they're normal prosocial people. They're not like smoking in a kid's park in the middle of the day with their feet kicked up screaming, "Get out of my park!" They have a house. They're normal people. They make a decision not to bring their dog back to the dog park. In fact, to be extra cautious, they stop taking her on walks altogether. Now that's a little extreme, and Cesar Millan showed them like you can walk her, you just have to be safe with it. But that's what normal people do. They take the onus upon themselves to do pro-social things. Like if my dog, I don't trust them, and they attacked another dog, I therefore cannot bring my dog off leash. I can't bring them to public places, and I need to make sure their leash is securely held at all times. Like if you're not doing that, it is not the other people's fault. You have to be like that'd be like, okay, like I told you how I manage my dog. I trust Tulip 100%. Archie, I know he's not violent, but he could hurt himself. So if I have his leash down and another dog walks by and he runs out after them, that's on me. That's on me, right? But I try to always make sure I'm close enough to him I could grab his leash, right? If there are other dogs around, I never put his leash down. I never, I've seen him enough in dog parks to know like this guy's just gonna be annoying as shit. He's gonna follow the dog around barking. He's not gonna hurt the dog, but you know what I mean? But like, let's say I was doing that and then Archie ran out and I was yelling at them for walking their dog, right? Like that's what this woman's basically doing, right? And it's just hilarious that she's so low intelligence. She thinks I'm at fault because I walked into the like whether or not this woman is with them or not. Honestly, Bayonne's so full of handicapped people already. She could just be a native. But I suspect she's with them simply because the behavior is so low functioning. It reminds me of the rapists they brought here from Arizona, from Alabama, from Georgia, from New York. Oh, it's like fucking license plate tag around here, and they're all like one thing in common. They're too stupid to get away with a crime if their hands weren't being held by billionaires. Like, I don't feel any like when I see that display, I just look at like, wow, you're limited. That's what I think. I don't get mad. I'm just like, damn. No wonder your life is this way. No wonder you're broke and we're doing all this shit. Like you can't manage your life. People like that are highly dangerous if you are near them, but they're so limited they can't do much damage because they're literally too stupid to get away with crime, too stupid to get away with exploitation. You know, the kind of shit these people would do is abandon their kid. They wouldn't like nefariously plan to pretend to be a father and then like plan to traffic the kid, right? Like a higher level psychopath making a plan. They're the kind of people where they'll punch you, rape you, fuck the corpse, and then walk away. Like, you don't have to worry about making complex plans, right? And this is a great example of what I mean by they're too stupid to function. Like, I want you to think about how everything you're mad at is you're doing, and you're screaming at me for coming to a public park, right? I just walk away like you're a parasite loser. Like, stop talking to me. I walked away like, why would I want to talk to you? You're a white trash nut. You're sitting here, you're screaming at me to get out of the park, saying I can't have my dogs off leash when you just did the same thing, and now you're lighting up a cigarette, blowing toxic smoke everywhere. Like I vape, but vaping is not harm. Like you're literally smoking in the park. That's and then telling me to get out of the public park. And the reason you're angry is your decisions to take your dog off leash and you don't trust his behavior. Like my dog didn't do anything to you other than Archie barked a few times. Then he got over it because I knew he would if I went in the corner. Your dog is the one that chased my dog, and this is my fault. This is what I mean. Like I don't feel any like, oh, I'm so mad at you. It's because they're so low functioning. I know if they weren't being held and helped by high functioning psychopaths, they'd be completely enough. They'd be kind of people get caught so fast to be in prison. They're just not. They're dangerous by their immorality, but they're actually. It's like the saying, if you had a brain, you'd be dangerous. That's like a high functioning sociopath versus a low functioning one. If you had a brain, you'd be dangerous. These people don't have brains, so they're actually less dangerous, right? If it wasn't for these high functioning psychopaths who are very dangerous to many people, holding their hand, they literally are limited in the damage they can do simply because they're too stupid. You think they're too, tell me about that story. Tell me that person's not a moron. Tell me that person ain't below 90 IQ. Absolutely they are. Like, you're the one doing all this fucked up shit and you're screaming at people. Like, and then you come back to smoke in a park with kids and scream, get out of my park. Like, very strange, right? Yeah, That's why I say the people they hired, I just laugh. Especially this case. This makes me hilariously laugh, right? Um, I don't really feel like I want to take vengeance on them because it's like they're so. It feels like really the way they made this place. It feels like an adult handicap facility, but instead of playing bingo, they're raping and doing crimes, and their hands are being just like an adult facility. You would have to guide them to all activities. They're being guided to these activities, right? And that's how it feels. Um, Whereas someone like Sky Roberts is a higher functioning psychopath, just high functioning enough to do damage, but too low functioning to have power. And they, for some reason, just evading getting his face carved in. Like after all the evil he's done, he's never faced any justice. And yeah, I would personally catch charges. If someone asked me, I'd say Sky Roberts needed to get his fucking stomach kicked in. I had to kick him in the stomach. Nobody was doing it, so I did it. He needs to have something in his life where he gets some feedback. You are an unacceptable person, you know? And it's not right. Most low functioning psychopaths of his strata end up in prison all the time. The only consequences this guy's faced are from his own incompetence of blowing his cash, right? But he's never faced any real accountability for the harm he's done. That's why I say it. Like, he's not high functioning enough to evade accountability like billionaires and their orbiters, but he's just magically evaded going to prison, getting attacked for the harm he's done to people. He's just evaded it, and that needs to end because there's no reason it should be like that. Most people in his strata who are only slightly higher functioning end up in prison, end up something, right? But it's never happened to this bitch, and that needs to be corrected. This bitch is older than his daughter, who he helped kill and destroyed her life from infancy. And he's just out there in the Florida trailer park with his Illuminati payout. Why has no one kicked this bitch in the stomach? Why hasn't he eaten a curb yet? Why is he not in prison? Needs to be fixed. And that's why I say I'd rather beat his ass than one of the people they hired. Because these people are like, I'm gonna rape you. How I tie my shoes? That's the vibe they give off. And I just look at them like, wow, you are an inferior specimen, like this white trash piece of shit. I'm just contrasting what she's doing to what normal people do who are not morons like this family I was thinking of. And just like, yeah, you're too handicapped to even get mad at. It's like getting mad at a dementia person screaming shit at you. Like your brain has sucked so much ass, you don't even know what's going on, right? That's not this bitch's case. He is not. I'm sure he's a moron. I'm sure he's not very high functioning, but he's high functioning enough to do a lot of fucking damage to his plans. And this motherfucking bitch needs accountability, and it's just not happened for him, despite having no power. It's fucked up.